Alright, this is
Nilqawkom lura Ir-Rokna.
Oh, Corey's doing the intro.
You want to do the intro? Zek, you want to do the intro? Suppost rajdu zej biex konta
I
ftaħ
don't
intro.
know the intro.
No, you don't know the intro.
Podcast, kif jgħidli għon, like, subscribe.
Eżatt.
We're on multiple platforms.
Jak jagħmela?
Without Leon as in
Le, ma nilqawkom lura episode what?
X?
9?
the nth episode. I think it's 9.
Nth
yeah,
episode.
Yes,
episode
something like that. So nilqawkom lura, follow jawna fuq Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, naploadjaw kważi
Spotify, YouTube.
darbi u darba le fuq TikTok u anke Instagram Reels. Għamlu subscribe fuq YouTube u l-lum għanna il-Zek maħna. Bħala l-ewel guest, għax li għor ma setax xieġi.
Msifer.
Eżat, jgħet msifer, jgħot
Failing in tournaments, probably.
jaħli il-ħin jilab.
I
Mhix
have no
vera.
idea. You have no
Ma
idea how he's doing?
ma nafx,
I don't give a shit.
We're actively rooting that you
Can I start with the story? I'll start with the story this week.
Alright, għan
About
nitkellem
my
fuq il-kajja,
nana.
għamorret.
About?
My nana.
Nanna?
Oh, yeah.
So, okay. My nana and nanu have a Vitz. A Vitz from like 2013, so I was like,
Xkuluri?
silver.
Għad nannu tijaj mela. Ġewa abjat jew?
Le, black.
No.
Alright.
Upjat.
One of the most common guys, I mean, still.
Anyway,
So,
so they were driving and they were in Mostar for whatever reason. And to cut a long story short, the car broke down. Alright, the gearbox went.
Tara daw
and-
Toyota reliability nuts? Clearly not.
Also, just an ugly fucking car, but not the point.
That's it.
Anyway, but for my nana, no, it's good. Anyway, so they're driving, the car breaks down, and this kid's driving in front of them. Kid, like as in a young man like us. And he stops and like gets out of the car and says, do you need any help? Do you need any help? He goes, he walks to the petrol station that's close by and walks back to try and find a rope to tow them, like really being super helpful. And then he says, oh, so I'm going to leave and I'm going to come back and try and find something to tow you somewhere, you know? Anyway, a warden comes, they move the car on the side, they're waiting.
Ma tafx ġemblu totra.
Shish?
Ma tafx ġemblu totra.
My nanu are like terrified of mobile phones, so not really. Anyway, so they're just waiting for this kid. 'Cause also this kid's helping them out, you know, and just being super nice. And he comes back, and they see in the passenger seat there's this man, and they're like, who's that?
Of his car?
This kid comes back, this 20-year-old something. He comes back with a passenger in his car, and they're like, who's that? I recognize him. It's Bertrand fucking Grech, man.
It's who?
Bernard Grech.
I was like, who's Bertrand?
I fucking sorry. Bernard Grech. It says Bernard Grech, man, the nationalist leader. His son was helping my nana fix her car. And then obviously my nana bleeds blue, so she was like going like, man, I love you so much. Like,
Where did he get the fucking? He's like, I'm gonna get something helpful. Gets his father.
apparently he was already in the car, but they couldn't see him because they were like behind him. But then like he just came back with it, and they were like talking to him. Bertrand Grech was just like, oh, Bernard Grech.
Bertrand.
I know Bertrand. Bernard Grech was just like super chill about it. So we're like, hi, whatever. And then my nana told him a story because my nana's dad used to live like in the middle of this field, like back in the day where Malta was just fields, and the Nationalist Party were doing like what's it called, a talk in the street,
Like a mass meeting.
a mass meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you. A mass meeting, and he would let them plug the sockets in my nana's dad's house. And once
You owe me. Paying me back.
And my nana, then my nana said that story to him, and he laughed or whatever. And then that's the end of that story. But then my nana told me the story, and she's like, "But you know what? I didn't tell him then. I didn't tell him that once there was a mass meeting that my dad really hated, so he took the socket out, and he said, "Oop, the power went. Everyone has to go home." So yeah, so it's cute, you know. Like my nana got to meet a political Bernard Grech, yeah, literally.
This is a very common thing to Malta. Like, you just walk down the street and Joseph was and his wife are like jogging next to you.
You ever met Joseph or a political person? I met Joseph once.
No, I didn't talk to them. I shook their hand.
I was at a school thing where, like, you know, like you go to a
You
church,
shake their hand or whatever.
you give money to him, and you shake his. I shook his hand, and I was like,
Yeah.
Right, nista tal-politika, like, nkun xogħol jewek ma kellimtom.
As in, also, I don't know about anyone. I should we talk about politics just before we started. I I
Don't
don't
really care.
I care because it's
Important.
important.
Le, ma
But I
fis-sens.
don't care as in like I vote
I vote for whoever I
Who I
think is
think-
doing best at the moment.
who I think is right.
Whoever
at
is
that
going to
moment.
move us
Which-
forward, which is no one.
Sadly, there's no one.
Quite no one.
Unfortunately, right now, yeah, it's no one.
Ma memx,
But that's-
mux dak it-tip li Labour, jew nazzjonalisti biss.
That's
no.
just a
I-
that's a
I-
very
Lift
Maltese
like
thing
that, like
that
that,
we have such a
yeah.
high percentage that people
I think
are
it's
like that.
dying out though a bit. I think
So
it's
much.
dying out,
slowly.
just-
It's
because
dying
of
out
the-
ħabba fina. Like, in nizzar, il-gbar, kienu għadhom jibawek.
No, my parents, my
Like,
mom's gonna be
jista
nationalist through and
jiġri,
through till
jista
the day she
jiġri,
dies.
bħalma ġara meta ħarġet ta' Joseph Muscat. Kulħadd baqa' jisu fucking alla minn dal-bniedem.
I'm even the youth, most of the youth actually. was like, hey, wait for that, like-
ħafna jekk.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm surprised that they won the recent election now. Like,
No, I
How-
thought
how are you
I thought
surprised?
it would be
No,
much
no.
closer.
I'm not.
I thought it would be closer.
No,
I'm not surprised.
I wasn't surprised they rebħuha.
Yeah,
It was
I wasn't
pretty
surprised
clear.
they-
Let me reword
So-
it. I'm not surprised they won. I expect them to win. I'm just surprised that considering everything that's happened, that they still won. I'm surprised that they won.
I was like, Isma,
Not that the nationalists deserve it, Ashman.
this may be, yeah, but I was like, I want to
raġun.
vote nationalist at this time. Obviously, they're a bunch of stupid fucking stuff. But like,
Le, għara,
They're nothing
għandkom raġun,
like, they have nothing.
wara li ġara tal-laburisti ma kellhomx jirbħu għadi. Imma l-problema hi li m'hemmx oppożizzjoni at this point.
Le vera.
Memx.
You know the
Hemm grupp li
if you have
suppostu
if you
għal-pożizzjoni.
have a duopoly,
Bla
if you have a
bajfa
duopoly and you really want to get rid of this current one,
X'inhu?
if you have a duopoly and you really want to get rid of this current one,
You vote for the other
you
one.
vote for the other one.
Ma,
I think
imma
please vote for it.
I have no
the other
problem
one
saying
has
I voted
no
for
strength.
nationalists in the past
Okay,
election.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
I just-
Ma-
I
To be fair, I regret that I voted for them عشان نحر the things that they're saying on,
And
on
you know,
social
what's
media.
even more frustrating?
Stupid.
I'm
L'unica
super like
raġuni-
pro-choice. Like
Uh-huh.
I'm quite a
Yeah,
liberal person. I consider
Same.
myself to be quite a liberal person, and it's like it's difficult to vote for the Conservative Party. For me, at least.
Imma to be fair, Malta, do you think that there is such a difference in viewpoints between
Labour is not the Liberal
Conservative
Party.
and Liberal?
When Labour gets asked about abortion, the only thing they say is no comment.
No,
I don't think
Party that both of them are like, oh,
Yeah,
sure,
yeah,
what
Nationalists are like no.
they're not hardcore, no. I'm saying
Ostia?
what they said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're hardcore.
Hemm nazzjonalisti u laburisti bħala partiti, ma they don't
They were
actually represent what
Le,
they're
le,
supposed to
le,
represent.
Even before
Their
that, there was
views-
never such a very before
le,
like
le.
it made like 5 years ago. I don't know what happened 30 years ago.
Imma
I wasn't-
their
wait,
views
that's
don't
not-
represent what they're supposed to represent. Għalmen ma naħsibx li. They're not that strong.
They're very like whatever the people want to.
Eżatt.
Like, which is, I mean, yes, that's what democracy is. But
Bħal ħaġa li ġast tilu tal-legalization tal-marijuana. Memx,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Ma sekonda, thank you very much. Eżatt, dik kienet. Meta
Same as when they said that
il-liġi ma tagħmilx
16-year-olds
sens.
can vote.
Imma il-liġi ma tagħmilx sens taħħadi. Ġis ħarġuha għalu it's legalized. Imma da daqsjek. La minn fejn tixtri, la regulation.
Technically, it's still not legal because you technically can't. You can buy seeds.
You can buy seeds, imma
But you can't buy weed.
Imma dal-ħar asna fej rajta. You can grow up to what, 4 plants?
4 plants.
4 plants.
Which
Imma
is-
but you cannot have more than how much? 50 grams?
Which 4 plants is?
Which 4 plants
Way-
grow way more
over
than
50
50 grams? Għaddi kif qed tgħidulhom in
I
you
know,
can have 4
I know
plants.
what the government is trying to do. They're telling you smoke the rest. Oh.
every issue, I think, most issues they are
You have to
now.
smoke so much. Illi 4 plants can only produce 50 grams at a time.
As it's growing.
Eżatt.
Is that
Can I, can,
Can't
I,
you speak, Bear?
can, I, can I shout out a company that we're not sponsored by? Not sponsored.
We're not sponsored by anyone by now.
Anyway.
So if anyone wants to sponsor us,
But I really want these guys to sponsor because I really like their place. It's a cafe in Valletta called Concert. They have like
heard about them, yeah.
tal-artisti.
shout out to them because they're doing brilliant shit. But I just want to say their loyalty card thing, like for stamps, like a free coffee, you have to buy it. It is rolling papers. For
rolling
like,
papers?
So it is like a little, like a cardboard thing. You flip open. On the lid, it's like the stamps for your coffees. And then on the bottom, there's roaches and papers. And it's blue. It's like a baby blue. So now I've got baby blue joints. And it's really cute, you know?
Yeah, rolling paper, baby blue.
Yeah, even the roaches are then like a dark blue.
It's a more
National
Yeah, it's
Story.
really
It's a
cool,
more
man.
so.
And it's like really, and you buy it like $2.50, you know, so not like a free loyalty card. And then you get like the loyalty card with it. So it's like an incentive to go back for the loyalty card. It's really cool. And it's like magnetized as well. It's like a
To
little
be honest,
flip.
ukoll.
Mhm.
To be
And it's
honest,
like 40 papers, more than OCB or RAW.
għadnat m-mort, għadni li timmu, 40.
40 papers.
Insomma,
OCB is only 35.
35, eżatt.
So,
Oh yeah, still, even if they equal it, that's
and
still
it's
very
local.
fucking-
I think the brand of the papers is called Haze and Blaze.
Hazen Blaze is a local company as well.
Yeah, that's they
Still
do
have
that.
local companies that create.
Mela.
Yeah, it's all
Hazen
local.
Blaze is a local. If you want, you can search them up on Instagram. They have a page. They post regularly.
Għax aħna entrepreneurs u Malta.
Le, ħafna.
Shout out to Conchefas. They're really trying to get local artists.
There is a bunch of, like, honestly, then these last 5-10 years, we've seen a bunch of, like,
Yes.
startups.
I
and
mean,
stuff.
even
yeah,
like, gonna be
constantly-
honest. I mean, I do film reviews.
Kontet li
Thank
inti
God, like I started doing recently in like the past few years.
Yeah, fucking
There's been that
Fucking show.
urge again for like criticism and art and shit. Like it's become
Yeah, there was a revival, at least. Like, the parties got a lot of slack for, like, illa like għamet abbużaw t-bandunaw il-ilda, but at least grassroots movements on, like, new artistic projects that ikun għaftit.
Li għandhom il-reviews tijak, I don't think they're for everyone.
What's that supposed to mean?
Għax il-mod.
Elaborate.
Le. I like his reviews. Il-views tiegħu fuq il-films, he goes deep into them or like he reviews them how they're actually supposed to be reviewed. Imma ċertu nies meta jmur jaraw films like
they don't think
okay, I like this film, that's it. I like it or I don't like it. Imma anke tara xi tara l-comments. M'hemmx argumenti fil-comments, m'hemmx diskussjoni fil-comments. Kemm bla sens mhix vera jew kemm bla sens u mhix vera jew nkella iva naqbel miegħek għandek raġun.
You know the irony is,
imma ħafna minnu jkunu kemm bla sens dejjem tobbod fuq il-film, dejjem tgħid kontra l-films, dejjem hekk. Imma il-reviews tiegħu jagħmlu għax kemm darba mort nara film miegħu u wara l-film nibdew like niddiskutu u jgħid li eżempju dal-film it was a 2 out of 5, 8 out of 5 rate.
And I say my reasons like I
go like here
his
reasons. It was like when nibda ngħid alright, I'm not bil-miegħek, ma naqbilx miegħek, u like we have an actual discussion. But ċertu comments, l-ewwel naqra review tiegħek, was like, okay, I agree, ma naqbilx, bla bla bla, nkun ġettom, naqdaw qabel. Ma tara l-comments, was like, kemm inti ignorant, dejjem tmaqdar, dejjem hekk.
You know the irony is because I
don't understand why people fucking are that close, like kemm int jew importak minn dal-film ħanin jew minn review jew whatever.
It's like I started doing reviews because I like discussing film, you know. So that's a good way to start discussing it, you know. So a lot of people like don't see that and they just like they think that I'm trying to say something as if like my word is gospel when it's not, you know. It's like it's just an opinion. Relax. The irony is that there are like these other Maltese reviewers that don't like write for the Times, you know, but they like have their own YouTube pages and blogs or whatever. And they'll say those types of comments. They won't be like, I disagree with you because I felt like this, you know, here's my review. They just go, no, you're wrong, I'm a better reviewer. And then they post a link to their YouTube thing. And it's like, what the fuck, man?
My opinion is the way.
Like, in my reviews, I constantly try to make it clear, like, this is my opinion. You know, it's very personal, it's mine, and if you disagree. Like.
Every review is the reviewer's opinion. I mean, ma jistax ikun jieħu l-opinjoni ta' kulħadd and he puts it in his review.
My favorite reviewers, I don't agree with their opinions. I love their writing.
You don't need to agree with everyone. You cannot agree with everyone.
No, but for review there is objective elements, to be fair. Well, objective elements is art, so there's
not
like
for example,
objective, but you can't like tackle like the technicalities.
If something is bad, it's bad.
There are some films.
Le, għax li għandek ngħid, hemm ċertu affarijiet li it's considered bad universally minn kulħadd. Imma ma jfissirx li hija għal kulħadd, just għax inti taħseb li dal-film huwa ħażin. Biex kien film li rajna ftit ilu ta' Marvel li inti qed this was terrible. Like
all of them.
Literally. Yeah.
Which one?
Seconda. Endgame. They were good.
Endgame had a lot of shit before it. Like Guardians of the Galaxy 1. I tried rewatching Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Oh, it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie.
It is a fun movie.
If you rewatch it, it's like...
I watched it once for cinema.
I tried rewatching it. I got an hour in and I turned to my girlfriend and I said, it's smart.
It's a movie. Watch it once, and you enjoy watching it.
It was fun. It was a culture.
No, but like Doctor Strange, I think it was. Doctor Strange got a lot of hate as well.
The second one.
Yes, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange.
It didn't get a lot of.
It
had a very different vibe.
Kien hemm xeni li kienu sbieħ, imma le kien hemm xeni. look-wise, cinematography-wise, there were certain scenes that looked beautiful.
Like
the director is
one,
type.
Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi,
I'll
is
say
it?
Rami Man.
No, he knows how
Sorry.
to do. Like he knew how to
There-
do horror movies. So I watched
It's,
it.
but it's just so cringe. Like the horror elements of the film.
Dik bil-miegħek u għetlek mill-ewwel.
There's-
Għedin fil-film, il-film għaddej u ma
We're
nafx
laughing.
waħna nisħu.
We're laughing. There's a moment where, okay, I'm just going to explain the scene to you. And 'cause obviously I can't say this in my reviews because it's spoilers. But now the film's been out for long enough.
Jaw,
They're like
dik
in-
Dr. Strange tal-axħar.
they're like in these tunnels, right? And they're like closing these doors, and Scarlet Witch is chasing them, and she's hurt, and she's hobbling, and she's like literally like a zombie kind of thing, like trying to chase them. And they're like running, and the doors are closing, and she keeps blowing them up, and then a door closes, and then they turn to the door, and it's silence, and they just look at the door, and the camera stays there, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, it's gonna be a jump scare, it's gonna be a jump scare, and then silence. And her face comes in from the side of that. And everyone's, and it's me, Corey, and Jason going,
It's the mood of the film.
she can fly. She can fly. And she's like hobbling towards them. No, it was so good. And then the fact that there's literally
Tal-axħar, kif xismu, kif kind of they defeated her. Xisima America jisima? America, which is a stupid name. Ma anyway.
Me, no, I don't know.
Huh?
Who's America?
a character.
The
Doesn't matter.
character.
She's
Exactly.
useless and is dumb.
She finds out she has new powers.
I don't blame the actor. The actor didn't do a good job, but I don't think it's the actor's fault. It's
It's the
the director
character.
and the writing. Like it was
Imma,
a
like,
mesh of shit.
she found out she has an ability, okay? She can travel through dimensions. Oh, she has no idea how to control this ability.
Like she'll sneeze and she'll be like in another universe.
Eżatt.
You know?
Or when she wants to travel, she cannot travel. U insomma, għamlet film sħiħ tipprova issib kif tħaddimha u she doesn't manage at all. Fl-aħħar xejna, Dr. Strange jiddeċidi li jkellimha. U f'daqqa waħda she wins. She can control it perfectly.
You can do it, and she's like,
Yes, I
do
can.
it. And she
She
does it.
just does it. She does it perfectly. There are no
Yeah.
flaws.
That's all I
What
can-
she wants,
that one
what she
liner.
wants to do, she can do it. Għamlu film sieħ, kemm kien twil il-film? Xi satej?
Too long. However long
Eżatt.
it was. It could have been 10
Għamlu
minutes.
film,
Too long.
jippruvaw jgħinuha kif tħaddem di. Kull ma ridet,
Dak
il-Dr.
il-
Strange
il-
jgħidilha, you can do it.
You know what I really hate?
Dead, the Dr. Strange, by the way.
He was like a zombie thing.
Eżatt,
It was
eżatt.
so dumb. It was so dumb. You know what I hate though about these arguments with like Marvel fans when they say like, because there's the what's it called, Illuminati in that film. Like
That
the
was another
Illuminati
stupid
are
fucking
meant to be
shit.
like, which,
Vera bla sense.
which as well, it's like, okay, I get it, because then people say, oh, it's in the comics. The comics are like that, and I'm like, fair play. But if something is shit in the comics,
You should
Change
change
it.
it.
Eżatt.
Insomma, ta'
Imma
you think so?
sekonda.
Any do like
Il-problema.
This is the scene. There's like all the Illuminati there, and you don't know the name yet. And Dr. Strange is like in handcuffs, and he goes, "Who are you?" And Professor X comes out in his wheelchair, like that bald.
Fair, Professor.
Mela.
Mela,
It's
an alternate universe. So it's
Sekonda,
like
let's mela.
It's like
Kienem
John Krasinski
stretch
as Mr. Fantastic.
Eżatt.
Fil-Illuminati?
Ija.
Yeah.
Eżatt. Imma il-ħaġa illi they introduced the Illuminati
And no,
in the
but
universe.
he's
And
like,
literally-
"Who are you?" And
Literally
he
5
comes down and
minutes
goes,
later,
"We are
they
the
killed them all
Illuminati."
off.
Yeah.
They introduced
Like,
Mr. Fantastic,
that probably-
Captain Carter,
From What
the
If?
guy that's
Emma,
screams.
not the what if one. I don't know if you've
haven't
What If.
seen it.
Emma, the thing is that people are losing their shit, being like, "Oh my god, look at these characters now. They're now in the MCU."
No, they're
Bitch,
dead now.
They're in an alternate reality.
And they're dead.
So, with that mentality, everything's in the MCU. Avatar is in the MCU because it's an alternate reality. You know, it's so
yeah.
dumb. It's so.
Imma
shit.
il-ħaġa hi illi għalfej introduċej daw il-karatteri illi in-nies kind of
Ġefu.
iħobbu minn postijiet
Because
oħra.
Marvel fans love to jerk off to see
Imma
characters.
għalfejn introduċejtom
And
and then
they
you
will
kill
be-
them
Apologies,
and then you
Marvel.
kill them
That
off
was
and
a
then you
good
kill them off
thing.
in 5 minutes. U għas kien hemm ġlieda,
And it's
tipo
goofy, yeah.
Mr.
One of
Fantastic.
The most powerful one has like a booming voice, like he can kill you. Like he goes hello and like
As a-
kill you. And the way he dies is Scarlet Witch. He goes to speak and she removes his mouth. So he speaks and like the echo stays in his mouth and blows his head up.
Yo, Mr. Fantastic,
So,
like
this is that movie.
it would have been nice. It would have been nice li tara.
Horror.
It would have been nice tara Mr. Fantastic u Scarlet Witch. At least go about it for 2 minutes. Le,
Yeah,
Mr. Fantastic għamilla hekk. Prova, he tried to reach for her, she went like this. He turns to spaghetti.
Yeah.
He just dies.
No.
Tipo, bla sens.
He was like a cheese string.
Mela, Mr. Fantastic, u dali jitkellem, she just went like this and they're both dead. Unbat, Captain Carter u l-oħra ma minn kienet l-oħra għamlu xi 5 minuti jiġġieldu, like go and get it, u Scarlet Witch actually bitweġġa.
And Captain Carter has like what? A shield.
Eżatt. That's her only power, she has a shield.
Like Captain America is the lamest superhero on the planet, bro.
Mela li jħolli kapaċi jistreċċja u li jħolli kapaċi joqtol in-nies just billi kellimhom, they were no problem. Imma shield kontra Scarlet Witch, that's a fucking problem.
And in the
like there was an actual fight.
A lot of people also we're talking about too much about this film. So
Uncle Samuel just saying like, you went into this shit.
We were really upset after the film. People were also like, oh, but it was super gory. At one point, like, this Captain Carter's shield cuts her in half. Emma, you don't see it.
Is it PG-13, Delphin?
No, I don't know. I don't fucking know. But either way, it's like, it cuts her in half, but all you see is the shield with like a bit of blood. And everyone's like, la, the gore. Gore lost, yeah, man. It's just a fucking shield with some red paint on it.
Oh, yeah, it's better than most Marvel movies.
No, it's not.
Bħala
gore,
it was bad.
Have
you seen Don't Worry Darling? Are you gonna watch
I really want to watch Don't Worry Darling.
I watched it.
You did watch it?
Yes.
Should I watch it? I'm not gonna watch it.
I don't think so.
No.
I'm gonna watch it.
No. It's kind of like, you know, have you seen Black Mirror?
Yeah.
It's like a Black Mirror episode for 2 hours, but worse.
It's just a Black Mirror episode for 2 hours.
I'd be fine with that. But it is like so
it's like season 4 or 5, whatever the latest Black Mirror season was.
I haven't seen the latest seasons, but I get what you're saying.
They were shit.
It's still like the older ones, like even if like it's a meh episode, it's still worth watching.
No, the first 2-3 seasons where like each episode can masterpiece quasi man.
I know.
But like they really.
Have you seen Black Mirror?
Right, she episode
Start with White Snow.
Especially if you're into sci-fi, man.
No, it's really good. It's really good.
So not episode 1.
It's an anthology.
Episode 1 is one of the weaker episodes tal-bidu, ma the first.
The pig one.
The pig one. I think it's one of the worst.
But you know what that's based on?
Because David Cameron pig.
Do you know that story?
The controversy.
David Cameron, the ex-Prime Minister of England, allegedly, but we all know he did it. Fuck the pig.
Like why? I don't know why. Like I don't know the details.
And that's how swine flu started. No, Don't Worry Darling is
what is it about?
It's like trying to be a Jordan Peele film, so trying to be like that thriller, like what's going on?
Psychological.
But really,
it's not
psychological at all. It has the worst. It has like, you know who M. Night Shyamalan is? He did like Sixth Sense or whatever, but most of his films are quite meh. It has like one of his like plot twists, but like one of those plot twists that like, you know when you're in secondary school and at the end of an essay you write, and then I woke up, full stop, and you're like, hand in, you know, because you're lazy. That's like
that's kind of because this is by Olivia Wilde, the director.
Yeah,
right.
And she made Booksmart, and Booksmart's one of my favorite films.
She's not. This wasn't her directorial debut or whatever.
No, her directorial debut was Booksmart, which is a coming of age film. It's by my citation, and essentially it's super bad, but a newer version. In fact, it's women instead of 2 guys, 2 girls. The chubby best friend, the female chubby best friend, is Jonah Hill's sister in real life. So it's literally like imagine, and Superbad is all about nerds trying to go to parties. Booksmart is about these 2 girls who like spend their entire time at school studying, and then they hear these people go like, oh, I'm going to a party, and they're like, lol, you guys are going to parties, but you're not going to a good college. And they're like, I'm going to Oxford, I'm going to Stanford, and it's like they're all going to go, like, fuck, we wasted our time studying, but we couldn't party. Tell us Booksmart.
Listen, so I still need to see Don't Worry Darling. There is like the main hairstyles. The main actor is like hairstyles. Don't Worry Darling.
Oh my god, man.
Is he good in it?
Not good at all. He and as a
because he was mfaħħar kien for Dunkirk għandu.
But that's because he had like 2 lines and he was like silent. But in this, there's like I don't know if you've been seeing the TikToks of Harry in Don't Worry Darling.
No.
It's like there's like this scene where he's shouting and he's going like, we have a good life here, and all this like but it's just taken out of context. It's really funny. And so when I went to watch the film on the premiere night, it was just a bunch of girls essentially for Harry Styles, and when that scene came up, it's meant to be this really serious thing, and everyone's laughing, man. Everyone's laughing. Also, even in the cinema, it's funny. The writing is so bad. It's like this, have you seen Get
Stan
Out?
was looking forward for this movie. Well.
In Get Out, there's that moment where it's quite late in the film where he's like, get out, like when he takes the photo. That they have that moment in Don't Worry Darling, like in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's like
it reveals the plot quite later. So
but then it's like in the first 10 minutes it reveals that like there's something wrong. But then for like the next hour and 40 minutes, you don't learn anything. It's just we're gonna repeat things until the end, and then it ends, and even then the film doesn't really end. It ends on the credits, but they say something in the film that happens after the credits you never see. So technically, the plot of the film never ends. They leave it super open-ended, but in not a good way. Like it's not like they left a question open. It's like I'm trying to think. Imagine Doctor Strange. Imagine they say, "Okay, you've got to fight this final villain,"
and you never fight the final villain.
And you never fight the final villain.
Jesus Christ.
That's like how it ends. Like it's like him going to go fight the final villain, and it's like, oh, will he win? Find out next time. But there will be no next time.
So, speaking of movies, Deadpool 3.
They're making it.
They're making it.
I'm not a big fan of Deadpool.
I'm not a big
Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
I like Deadpool.
It's the first of that kind, you know.
You know job li Deadpool.
Stretching.
Imma issa li I'm excited for li jaffikun Hugh Jackman as Wolverine again.
Oh no, man.
Why do they keep it? Like yes, we get
He
it.
said he was gonna stop.
He said he was going to stop.
And Logan was the perfect way to say goodbye.
Oh, vera, man. Like
Imma they're not
Speaking about Logan makes me want to cry.
they're not touching Logan imma.
Imma għandu xaqsam. Imma għandu xaqsam, man. Like he said goodbye to the role, and he said he would never do it again.
And now he's doing it again.
He did reappear in he did reappear in the movie after Logan. In like for a bit
like a cameo.
Cameo.
And this is like he's gonna be a character. The poster
like a proper character.
The poster is the Deadpool logo with the 3 claws scratched like a scratch. Like a monster drink.
And it's confirmed the Hugh Jackman.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds are like friends.
I'm the video film keen for TikTok.
Yeah, man.
They've done a bunch of promotional shit together.
You know, to be honest, I'm excited for it, and I hope it comes out right.
Man, they need to find a new Wolverine. Might as well.
X'kien il-film?
Who would you cast as the new
X-Men, ta' X-Men, no.
Which one?
Ma nafx kien hemm X-Men fake kien jidher Deadpool, the shitty version of Deadpool.
Wolverine Origins. Bro,
Wolverine Origins.
I'm a big X-Men fan, yeah.
Naħseb, jista' jkun.
The original Deadpool tajdu?
Le.
Do you remember the Wolverine Origins film where Deadpool had like katanas coming out of his hands? The film with Will I Am.
Yes.
I can't believe Will I Am.
Emmek we had a Wolverine.
Gambit
was in that film.
He has a staff and he's throwing cards and it's really crap. It's a really bad scene.
That's one of the worst Wolverine movies.
If
not the worst, I think that's the worst.
Speaking of films that are universally hated, that's
Emmek għanna fight zaħira bej Wolverine u Deadpool. Which was shit.
Deadpool King.
Which was shit.
And he had like laser. Remember, he cut a nuclear reactor in half with his eyes. I remember that.
It was shit. Oh, in Deadpool 2, I think, in the end credit scene,
they make fun of that.
Deadpool goes through different universes, and one of the universes he goes to is that one, and he kills Deadpool. He kills Deadpool, and then he talks to Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. It's like, your friend will come and ask you to be in the movie. Just say yes, whatever, blah blah blah. And now they're making it. So hopefully. We have a good Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, and now we have a decent Deadpool.
Logan. I don't want to see him as Wolverine after Logan. Logan was. I cried so much in that film.
Taf jimxakajni Logan meta rajtu. Kien like the live adaptation, I think a lot of people said this, ta' The Last of Us. Rajtu vera simili, as you know.
Are you excited for The Last of Us?
Serious,
very severe.
Right, the trailer. It put me off a bit. I'm gonna lie, the editing mata trailer.
I mean, Drunkman's a producer on it, and he directs the first episode.
Ma he's xismu. Does he have any experience in film?
No, but what I'm saying is, so there's still they're like keeping very true to it. I just don't understand it because like I already have the game. Why
are you doing a one-to-one adaptation of the game?
Like why? Like I don't know how you feel about Last of Us 2. I don't know if you've played it.
No, I love it. I love it.
Because people.
It's a one-to-one adaptation of the game.
The only reason I don't understand
Last of Us 2 is my favorite game of all time.
2? No, I still
2.
prefer the 1 because just the
No,
experience of the
because
Last of Us.
Last of Us 2,
But
I don't
2.
know if you know.
Yeah,
about Last of Us.
Have you
my
played
bad.
any of them?
My place.
Last of Us 2 is a beautiful game, and it's a bit of a mini spoiler, but this is literally the premise of the game. The opening is Joel, the main character of the first game, gets killed by this random girl that you don't know. And then you play the entire game, the first half as Ellie, who's the girl from the first one.
Seeking vengeance.
Seeking vengeance. So trying to kill the girl who killed Joel. And then you play the second half of the game, you play the same 3 days as the villain. So it humanizes the villain, and you really see her perspective.
And then you'd start fucking actually empathizing with the villain.
Exactly. And people are like
obviously not for
people
you.
are saying like, oh, it's boring. It's just like,
not. It's not.
revenge is bad. Revenge is bad. It's like, no, man. Never in media have I ever seen a story where I truly, truly, truly loved the villain, and I love her, man. That character.
I still hated Abby. Yeah, sure.
No, but when you play as Abby, her story is beautiful. And if anything, she's the one in the right. If anything, you find out.
They did Ellie dirty.
But I love that. You find out that her journey, if anything, objectively, is more righteous than the main character.
Both of them go way out of their way to seek revenge.
Yes, exactly.
Like it's like Madonna.
They're both addicted to revenge.
Like you're risking your life for 50 times during the game.
But imagine 36 hours and half of you play as the villain. Imagine. And you essentially play the same day.
السيريز هتكون
to the first game.
No,
the first game is just a linear story.
It's a very normal. It's Isu Logan. It's like a father figure.
It's literally Logan.
رأيت التريلر vera der sabiħ.
It is literalment u l-scene ta' trailer huwa mill-logħba. M'hemmx scene li mhux mill-logħba naħseb. Mill-rajt kollha I still remember playing those scenes of the I still remember those scenes. That's why għandek raġun.
How do you feel when so when a game gets adapted into a movie or a film, a show, when they hire actors that aren't the voice actors? For example,
it's not a bad thing. Why?
No, for example, Uncharted. Right? I don't know if you've seen the film. We saw the film together.
Yeah, I'd much rather if they hired.
They have a cameo of the voice actor. It's not Nolan North. I think it's the other guy. When Nathan Drake comes out of the water, like whatever, he comes out of the beach. Like he comes off this beach, and there's the voice actor sunbathing, and he's like, "Your first time." So it's a cute thing. But he's clearly a good actor. He's acted in live action things before. Why not just give him the role? He is the character. They modelled the face of the character on him. Uncharted, yes, it's modelled on the dude, on Nolan North, I think.
Ma Nolan North ma jiġbaħlux daqshekk ta'.
Originally, the original game, it was over the years, it started to look more like another voice.
Generic dude.
A generic dude. But I think the first one was modelled after him. Joel then looks completely different.
Joel. Even Ellie, like you couldn't play Ellie as the voice actor.
But generally, a lot of the time, I feel there's so many times where you can just hire the voice actor. Or even better, when there's an animated version, like Arcane, Jason might know. In Arcane, the voice actors of the characters, are they the voice actors of the characters in the game? Because I assume that they're not. Because normally they don't do that kind of thing. But they should be, you know?
Għemmek naqbel miegħek, animation iwa. Live action,
I assume there's much more that goes into casting than just
also casting, a very big part of it is the name. Because actors sell things. I understand.
However, they didn't go with
ċertu actor, they might be able to bring the character to life more than the voice actor. Because the voice actor, his job is voice acting. I mean, okay, in this case, he does act in other things.
In Last of Us, all of that entire game is mocap. So all of the movements of the character, he did all the facial expressions are theirs. So you can't tell me he's not a good actor, because the cutscenes in Last of Us 2 specifically, oh my god, man. It's like I'm watching a film.
For example, great for The Last of Us 2, what was the name, the friends of Ellie?
The girl, Dana.
Dana would have been, she's literally modeled one-to-one in the game. She's like one-to-one model in the game. Her voice, obviously. She's a voice actor. No, ma people they had The Last of Us 2. That was such an obvious,
Yeah. Can you imagine if they hired Elliot Page for Ellie after all that controversy? Because when Last of Us 1 came out, there was this big controversy about how the main character is Ellie, or one of the main characters is Ellie, and it's like, oh, they look like Ellie Page.
Ellie Page.
Who's now Elliot Page. They look like Elliot Page, and so everyone's like, oh, it's like they're copying her likeness.
That was
or whatever.
most of the hate about Last of Us 2.
And then the irony was that then they released a DLC where Ellie is gay, and that was the same day that Elliot Page came out as gay. The day the DLC released, so that week, like. So it's like, how like more matched up can these two things be? It's just a coincidence, I guess.
Most of the hate of The Last of Us Part 2 was mainly because of the story. It was like, it's obvious that Ellie's gay. It's obvious that one of the main points of The Last of Us 2 we're protecting this character that's, I think, trans or whatever, insomma. U infatti Metacritic when it released, there was fucking review bombing it just they dealt with these issues, like prominently dealt with these issues.
Like there was a thing about like people hated Last of Us 2 because they were like, oh, there's lots of gay LGBT awareness. This was never in the first game. There's like an entire 3-hour chunk of the first game.
There's a DLC, alright? The entire DLC of Ellie coming out as gay.
In the original game, there's a 3-hour chunk where it's this gay dude and you're helping him out and like he's talking about his issues being gay. So it's covered in the first game that people are just being dicks. But Last of Us 2 is a masterpiece, huh? And it's directed like a film.
And by the way, the gameplay, because people like constantly focus on the story, constantly focus on like
fantastic.
The gameplay is by far the best mechanics I've ever played for Loba. By far. Like you know what a drastic leap they made for like even the movement of the characters where they can fit
Last
through.
of Us 1 and Last of Us 2.
Last of Us 1 is like
and now
2018 game.
Last of Us 1 had a remake already. They remade it again with the gameplay of Last of Us 2. And the visuals of Last of Us 2, so it's completely brand new. I'm not going to buy it because I've already played it, so
I'm probably going to, but I've already played it like 3 times, Last of Us 1, and probably
Last of Us 1, Last of Us 2 is much better than the first one in terms of gameplay.
Yes,
obviously it's 8 years or what, like 5 years. No, there's a gap.
Even Uncharted 4, bro. Uncharted 4.
The gameplay, man, can fun. Uncharted is more like a fun game. Last of Us 2,
an action game.
It's like you can see that their focus was on when you're playing, you're like that person, man. Literally, since the mechanics are much more advanced, you can literally go on their cars and do whatever the fuck you want. And even like the hits are very realistic with Hosson, man.
It's not open world, but there's a lot of big areas that you can
similar
explore,
to Uncharted,
or you can just skip it, like you can just go through it.
Even Uncharted similar.
Yeah, to be honest, these big open.
Assassin's Creed and that's it.
Mirage.
Bro, I'm not getting excited. I got excited for Valhalla because it looked fucking awesome. Valhalla looked great. Okay, it looked very nice. It looked like it was going to be very good.
That looked like it was going to be very good.
Valhalla.
People were very excited. I don't understand why.
It-trailers, man, kienu fucking
trailers ma jfissru xejn. Huma qalu li this game is going to be an RPG like Origins and Odyssey.
Imma it looked.
Have they said that about Mirage?
No. Mirage is going to be. They said we're not going to be an RPG. And we're going back to story-driven, non-RPG.
I'm still okay. Jiena, at this point with Assassin's Creed, I am very skeptical. I like the game. I like the game very much. I'm very skeptical. Allura, I'm just going to let the game come out. I'm going to see reviews about it and then buy the game. Valhalla, I pre-ordered it. I got very excited. I pre-ordered it and I feel very bad the fact that I pre-ordered it. It is
what's the point to pre-order a game?
You pre-ordered it physically or digitally?
Digitally.
Even physically, what's the point to pre-ordering physically?
It's like, you want the day one
collector's edition.
It's like you want the day one, so make sure it's in stock or whatever. I can maybe understand.
Have you ever seen?
What's the point? Just buy it on the day.
Exactly. It's the same thing.
Why pre-order digitally?
Because I can preload it.
What? Because you
in the 42 hours.
Imma seconda.
You get extra horse armor.
Seconda.
That's gold and it's also.
Let's see.
I'm a big fan of Assassin's Creed. Like I'm a huge fan.
Even if it's like ħatkun globally 10 out of 10 ħatoġbok. Like żgur, immaġina ta' price żgur ħatoġbok. Still no point.
Yeah, I understand li I don't usually pre-order games. There are no games that I pre-order. Cliff, Assassin's Creed. Sempliċi raġuni illi I'm such a huge fan of Assassin's Creed.
Li taf
labtom kollha, għandi kullu. Mhux I didn't torrent all the games, okay? I actually bought all the games. I have all the games.
Did you finish all the
yes, I
ones? Daw l-ġodda.
Kollha. Cliff Valhalla bis Origins l-estejta, Odyssey l-estejta.
Origins I had fun with it.
Il-lob kollha l-estejtom. Kollha kemm huma. Għandu l-lob kollha bil-Chronicles ukoll l-estejtom kollha.
Top AC game, Top AC game, l-aħjar waħda.
Black Flag. But unfortunately, it's just not it's just a pirate game.
It's just eħzat. Like
the top AC game, it
Revelations.
Story-wise
I think
Revelations. Story-wise Revelations.
All right. And a lot of people really still don't agree with us.
No,
I love Revelations.
Story-wise Revelations.
Best outfit is what the grey Ezio outfit.
Eżatt, man.
Revelations u it-tu the story start.
AC2?
Iwa.
AC2.
Istorja hija bellezza. Revelations.
From birth to death.
Dik għalek huma sbieħ, like the two and Revelations huma sbieħ, għax you see the start of the character like literalment minn meta jtwielet minn tara. Sa meta jmut. So dawk ġissejjer huma bellezza.
Vera għandu storja li mhux relatu.
Gameplay wise għalija
Gameplay
naħseb tibqa' you will not agree with me. Unity.
What?
Unity.
Gameplay wise,
Unity.
I
will explain
I know
why.
maybe like the mechanics are good, but you can't play the mechanics.
You can't. No, wait, second.
He doesn't think it's glitchy, but it is.
Minuta.
Meta ħarġet.
You're climbing something in your legs above your head like that.
Mela,
Meta ħarġet.
even the most polished AC game is still shit as fuck bħala polish.
What? Which one?
All of them, even the most polished ones, even early AC ones, man, verament. Minuta
waħda.
Revelations
Black Flag.
Komparaħħa.
3 wasn't.
Komparaħħa ma xi Uncharted, man.
Mux għanna
They're nowhere close stuff.
Fair enough.
Even how they move when they're moving smoothly. With the AI constantly jumping between.
Assassin's Creed does this thing that every fucking video game does, where it's like follow this NPC, and it's the NPC's walking at, let's say, like
1 meter.
the NPC's walking, but they're walking faster than your walk speed, but slower than your run speed.
So you're like,
Does it take a monkey would be able to tell you this is wrong, right? How can go the same speed?
Yeah,
Why?
The only game for sidekick huwa bomba huwa Last of Us. Għax sidekick never gets in the way.
Bioshock Infinite.
I only played like an hour or two.
Black Flag, it was good. Okay, bħala gameplay. Black Flag was the best gameplay. Ħabba ships u hekk. Okay, ta' ships, I'll give it that. It was fun. Imma Unity, once illi għaddit sentej minn fuqa and the bugs were mostly fixed. They weren't all fixed, but they were mostly fixed, okay? You could see the character's face and he didn't glitch through fucking everything. Okay?
When you have to specify that you can see the character's face.
Because when it came out, you could see his fucking nerves and not his face, man.
No, they're just floating eyes.
They were like a smart. The PS3 can handle 51 AI people in the screen. Let's do like 53, just in case, alright? Like, it's yet a glitch.
Unity was Cyberpunk before Cyberpunk.
Imma Unity li kella, mela. One, you can customize the character. Illi qabel you couldn't do.
I hate RPG.
Le. Imma this wasn't
Assassin's Creed RPG.
This wasn't RPG. This was very basic RPG. The skills اللي you could upgrade. Mux għandhom fuq arġi, diġa tkellimnija. Imma the skills you could upgrade, they just help you be more stealthy or kill more people efficiently. Mux bħal RPG elements li għandhom issa. That's way too fucking much.
Unity was less.
It was a good amount.
Towards that.
It was a good amount. The fighting, mux bħal qabel, even in Black Flag, you just counter and you kill them. Full stop. In Unity, you had to actually fight them. U anka l-parkour. Il-parkour it was more, once it was fixed, it was fluent.
I'm not saying li isma, the technology didn't advance, they didn't put any effort in the game.
It's like, they were starting to get better. They did Unity, which is kind of like, laħja l-staw morru, kiku ma kien glitched, and then they started going back down għax bdew daħlu too much RPG elements. Għalija kiku għaf at Unity, they kept that formula of Unity. They didn't bring out games which were glitchy as fuck. I think it would have been the perfect game.
Since they started towards that trajectory, they had to continue that trajectory. It was such like,
we're
introducing some elements and we're gonna stop and we're just gonna tease you with these elements for the next few games.
Setaw anka il-xismu l-affarijiet li għamlu ġo Syndicate, they were good. Kien hemm iktar skills x'upgradeja, imma there weren't as many skills.
Syndicate kemm kien under
Syndicate li dejqitni jiena. Syndicate it was good.
Under the radar.
I think we've spoken about that pretty much already, like even on a previous podcast.
Le, kuma ħajdi ma Syndicate li dejqitni illi the roads were way too big, you couldn't jump across buildings bħal ma tagħmel f'oħrajn.
I've recently started playing Metal Gear Solid 5 for the first time. I never played it before. I don't know if you've ever played a Metal Gear
I
Solid
started
game.
them. I've never played.
It's like a stealth game. There's also like sci-fi elements. And predominantly it's a stealth game. And usually like about customizing your character, when you start Metal Gear Solid 5, it says, like, because like, there's like an explosion, whatever, and your face is going to be reconstructed. And the doctor says, what do you want your face to look like? And it gives you like a character creation menu. And I'm like, I want to look like Snake. I want to look like Big Boss, the main character. I don't want to look like a random piece of shit. And so like, you're creating your character, you get to the end, and then it's like, he goes, okay, brilliant, we're going to do the surgery tomorrow morning, and you look like that. And the doctor gets killed right there and then. So the game just starts. So
Oh my God.
the game trolls you. But then that becomes your online character.
Alright.
But without telling you that's what you're doing. It's cool, you know? Like, and even like it says like, pick your name and your birthday. Like has nothing to do with the game at all. It's just a cool like troll to misdirect you into thinking one thing. And the moment you stop the character creation, the next scene is the doctor getting killed and you escaping.
This was 5. The
Yeah.
Hideo Kojima one.
The newest one.
طيبة.
Yeah, it's good. And I thought it was a cool like little. Cause I honestly thought it was a story game. I was like, you lost it. It's an RPG. I didn't even know this. I spent like half an hour like, I like this nose, these eyebrows.
I don't spend time with character creation
I
screens.
used to not, and now
No.
sometimes I do with like games I really care about. And this
Even
I want to
Cyberpunk.
really try.
Maximum 5
That's
minutes.
effort into it. Well, okay. The one time I try, Skyrim, like I just do the basic faces.
One of the best naħseb character creation għatrajt ta' GTA, man. The fact that you don't get to choose your character creation.
That you choose your parents, so
That's why it's cool.
I think everyone chose John Marston as their dad. I chose John Marston.
I forgot, man.
No.
Created them in 2013.
Yeah, John Marston's the main character of Red Dead. Remember there was that thing when GTA Online first came out?
I forgot that.
You could have your dad be the main character from Red Dead 1. So everyone's I knew was like, obviously, I'm going to have my dad be the Red Dead 1 guy, you know? You want to have the Red Dead Redemption shit.
Meta rajdak il-konċett ta' tistja, di character creation.
Speaking of gaming, this week I bought a DX Racer. The chair. The gamer
I had the
chair.
gamer
I
chair.
got it second hand because it's like 150. It's a €400 chair. I'm not going to spend fucking €400. But bro, comfy as shit. I've sat in it in my life. It's so Jason's like shaking his head, but it's so comfy.
Most people hate these gaming chairs. I have a gaming chair myself,
comfy.
But most of them have the accessory of it. But
I think I've got also the perfect body type for it. I'm like
probably
lanky and skinny, which
probably.
is literally
So
the
it
DX
hugs you.
Racer shape. Like I sit
So it hugs
perfectly
you.
in it. It's so good.
Għasna xinu tijeni għil-verna.
The ones that have like the tall backs.
Tanderex, tri xaġek tijeni, verra komdu.
Tejta secret lab.
Yeah, I just
Secret.
know DX is the brand.
Dawk il-gbar.
Mhux kbar, ma they are very thick. They are very thick.
How often do you guys change your sheets? Like your bed sheets? I'm asking you because you're men. And generally men are like very comfortable having your bed sheets be the same for like 2 years.
I still live with my parents.
But you don't change your own bed sheets?
I do change my own bed sheets whenever the new ones are ready.
So like how often? Like
Usually
once
once
a
a
week?
week.
Once a
week.
Alright, that's very good numbers. very good numbers.
Because I'm not the one washing them.
Sibt, but like, kukat kun id-dar, naqlawum.
Yeah, okay. Normally every weekend, like I wash my room, like clean the surfaces.
Eżattu.
Alright.
When you have nothing to do in the morning.
I'm surprised.
Yeah,
I
because
feel like Corey would have been like once a month or
Do you do the washing?
Jason?
Do you do the washing? Machine?
Once every 3 weeks.
As in 3
weeks.
days.
Like, għandi London Budget fil-kamra, sirt nisfa il-ħwejġ kollha hemmhekk u every weekend jew meta jkolli ċans biex nispiċċak minn mix-xogħol, nitla fuq u naqsamhom u naħsilhom jiena.
I still don't do. I don't.
There's some shit going on and I was like, I'd rather do my own shit.
Dan l-axħar jek nibdax. Meta mor ġim kol jum I need fresh clothes every day. So isma, it doesn't keep up.
I don't go to the gym.
Dal-axħar sirt il-best ħafna nqas kwejjex mill-għodu qabel għax persi li.
Vera?
Għedin kun, persi li kull jum xogħol, I have 3 different shirts for work, and like I change between them. Sakemm eżempju tnejn ħasslu tinbes li ieħor. U għal-żied, I have 2 and I just change between those. Allura matul il-ġimgħa, biex ma tantx noħroġ, I'm just working. Fl-aħħar tal-ġimgħa jkolli l-ħwejġ tal-weekend ta' qabel x'naħsel u l-tliet flokki tax-xogħol. Allura ma tantx ikun hemm ħwejġ bħalissa.
My friend for school used to go to sleep in his uniform. So that's why the next morning,
He doesn't have to do anything.
he'd wake up and
Just
be
go to
like,
school.
now time to go to school.
I mean, it's efficient.
Ah,
Not
he'd
clean, but
shower, put on his uniform,
The
sleep,
fuck?
and then wake up and go. Yeah, and
You
like
can just transfer that to the morning
Eżatt.
and you sleep the extra hour. Just move your sleeping 1 hour.
when he wakes up, when he sleeps, it's like to wake up, it's an ordeal. Huh? Like you can be screaming next to him, and he'll be like, oh. He sleeps. He has windows.
I am
like,
envious of those people.
The sun goes directly onto his face when he's asleep, and he just leaves his windows open, and he'll sleep through it. He'll sleep till like 1 o'clock in the afternoon with the sun right in his face.
Biex, le, jena, kif tibda diħla xemx, ġor kamera, inqum.
How did you feel about last week?
What happened last week?
The podcast, doing it in front of people.
I have no idea, man. I was,
Now that
I
Zach
was
said
sick.
you were watching it.
I was live audience.
Last week I didn't speak very much because last week konna in farmhouse. U mafx kien dunajt inti. Imma I spent half of the farmhouse riqet fis-sodda.
Ejja, night.
Għax it-tnejn mort.
Le, probably huwa
Le,
stax.
Fis-sodda ma jagħmel
Smart
ħaġa.
ġurnata kien mejjet.
Le, riqet fis-sodda kont nkun. Għax it-tnejn mort ix-xogħol sewa. U kellna nifqu f'nofsinhar għax bla saħħa kompletament konti. Għax like ma saġġu kompletament, ma jkollu murlem. U tlaqt. It-tlieta
Get that energy back. Have a banana, get that energy back. Round 2.
it-tlieta għamil ġodda fis-sodda u l-erba kont qed ħossna għal ħjar għax bdejt nibda n-Eurofen u nagħmel l-ispejt tal-nieħru hekk. Vera, u mort, u qed orajt ħanħossni orajt, imma xorta għamil farmhouse sieħa bla saħħa. Iħin kollu mitlu, tipo il-farmhouse ta' sena l-oħra li l-isħaq kont nagħmel imqajjem u nixorbu hekk, id-darba waqt qed nilagħbu King's Cup. Għax ħadd tazza Malibu.
Ring of Fire for most people.
King's Cup, no?
That's what I thought. Ring of Fire was his name, and then I look it up, and mostly King's Cup jitla. Online at least King's Cup jitla.
X'ismu?
I think
Għamil tazza
it could be like the British one and the American one.
Ring of Fire.
Għamil tazza bil-Malibu bil-pineapple biex niżilta fucking infern kienet dil-leba tazza biex nizlet. Għax l-istonku kull dabba l-naqbada jgħidli fuck you, Jason jafxie ġiviri. U mbagħad ferrajt ta' soħra, għamilt x'ismu Captain Morgan. Hemmhekk baqgħet ta' ma nafx ġara minna probably ramew, ma int just ħadd norqod I was like fuck this.
I took 3 of your cookies home.
So għamilt. Tajbin ġew?
Oh man.
I had 2 as like over a few days. Like I ate 2 of them and they were like okay, not that strong. And then like I left like a few days in between. And then I think on Thursday I took the last one, and it fucking hit me like a train. Like it's crazy.
Like, pala cookies, tajbin?
Cookies were good, but obviously it was my recipe. I gave you the cookie recipe.
So
obviously the taste.
Irriġibek il-mizjax ġed nżejtu l-lum, ma inti ħadtu. Kif kienu?
I didn't enjoy it.
Huh?
I didn't enjoy it at all.
The experience.
You didn't enjoy it?
Vera, do you
ħassejtom?
consume marijuana?
Nope.
No, you didn't feel it, or no, you don't consume?
Nee. I felt meaning it.
So you prefer drinking?
Who ħafna
But drinking is
Ma sekonda.
Aha, mbagħad das.
Differenti. Ara,
and you throw up as well.
jista' jkun għax jismu, jista'
Vera,
jkun.
ma there's no vibe. I didn't feel a vibe with the other one.
Ara, to be fair, there was no vibe. Okay, kulħadd jiena l-pjan tiegħek.
Listen, insomma,
Jiena-
they won't find this interesting. Ma
Yeah.
Jiena
All I would say is that fucking pool at the farmhouse was freezing.
aha,
Jien darba nżilt, u mhux fil-pool nżilt, jien nżilt fil-hot tub for like
It's not a hot tub. It's a tub.
Hot
It's a tub.
tub.
It's a tub. Nżilt fit-tub,
Hot tub minus the hot.
nżilt fit-tub għal like kemm kwarta? Ġakuzzi, whatever. Insomma, ġo fih għandu toqba da' sek zaħir titħol ġo fih.
No, jacuzzi mhux bħas konsu. Jacuzzi is just the
bubbles.
The bubbles.
Insomma, ma ġakuzzi. Għamil forsi kwarta u da' sek, ma flaħx.
I jumped in and like I was literally like, because bro, look at these arms. There's no meat on these arms. I've got no insulation.
Imma da, jien, jumping back to the cookies, probably ma ħad maħal gost jħodhom. One, Daniel aħbal ba kem tħaxin rajtu. Jekk qed tara l-podcast mhux liħor, ma setax fucking kellem. Sejjerek, li ma tħadd. Allora subtu jitnejjek, imma mbagħad ġest baqa' dej, okay, fine, ma sax titkellem mela. Imma jiena il-pjan tiegħi kien illi immorru nażlu ġurnata ngħidu alright, issa ħanieħduhom flimkien or like we can do something, we can watch a movie, go for a walk, stay in the hot tub, do something. Imma kulħadd li tagħmel jiena għandi jabtu tissa. Jiena għandi jabtu tissa.
We started this beer pong u minn hemmhekk.
Imma beer
We
pong.
wanted to play multiple games. Once we started beer pong, we instantly died. So.
Imma beer pong għamiltu waqt li tixorbu jiena l-punt kien illi lejl minnhom nixorbu u ġrada minnhom
Ma
nieħdu
tistax,
cookie.
men, għax tajja, men, inkun tajjin, mux ħannamlek loba. Għan kulħadd kien.
Mux tagħmel logħba. Aħna eżempju meta ġili
Ħadd tilab kulħadd.
da minnhom morna għanda. U x'ismu? Ħadna naqra. U għadna bil-qiegħda nilagħbu Mario Party. Jew nkella mmorru fil-karozza kif kont qed darba noqogħdu nitkellmu. That's different. Mhux li toqgħod tagħmel beer pong jew mhux li toqgħod taqgħalex jumping jacks
Imma aħna energetic people.
Il-bira tlula.
Need something
Il-bira
with it.
tlula. Mort id-dar. Kien baqali, ħadd naqra. U konti jed bil-headphones nisma' mużika sa kammet qed impejjeb u it just hit wara like 20 minutes. U tħadd ġewwa qed nisma' l-mużika għamilt l-isbaħ sija għajnejja magħluqin il-mużika full blast u jien just nisfem waħda fil-kamera minn. L-isbaħ like il ma nagħmilha ma nafx kemm għamilt sija just nisfem fil-kamera waħda.
Jiena like the best thing I love doing when I smoke is to go on a walk. I love to just music.
Għadiza, esperienza personali u meta tkunu tnej u tlieta forsi ma esperienza meta tkun alla
You were like
20 persuna.
Għalek.
Imma 10 minn nies, 10 minn nies biss kienu ħajjieħdu.
Farmhouse needs
As I'm not even a pro. Like I can't roll joints at all. Like I'm the worst joint roller on the planet. So I'm a really bad weed smoker. But I told Corey, listen, you are making these cookies to my standard, not to your standard, which is much lower. And he made them too strong.
Yeah, man, they weren't too strong. Bro, għamiltom 0.3 kull cookie and they took half of it.
And it's still too much for their baby brains. Allegedly, we took the cookies. Hypothetically, if we did take them, this is what would have happened, you know? I'm a writer, so it makes sense.
By cookies, we're...
It's true, I've written scripts before. This is just a page for every script, guys. It's fine.
Ma, since maybe they started... To be fair, alright, ma jekk xaqtawa ma mafx, għamlutom. To be fair, jien għettilom PayPal qabel.
Before you eat the cookie?
No.
As in
experience the smoke before.
Kont pejjibt qabel?
Kien pejjibt qabel?
U le, kont pejjibt forsi sigaret u nofs l-kal pejjibt?
Cigarette?
U nofs.
A joint?
A joint.
Ma immenti tittidra. Tittidra il-ħaj kif inu u kif tħossak meta tkun qed fuq. Plus mhux
I don't like feeling relaxed. Yeah, I don't like feeling relaxed.
You know, for me, my brain, I feel like it's constantly at like 100 miles per hour. So it like tones it down, you know, and I like...
Ara, xi darba nagħmlu kif konnedna. Immorru x'imkien għal-kwiet. Unaraw.
Dik hekk isbaħ.
Jason's putting a heart.
Isma.
Jason vera jħu.
Eżatt, nagħmlu
Meta marru 2-3. Da minnhom kelli problema u like ma nafx xi tqajna. Jew tqajna xi ħaġa ġus battin kelmek dwar il ħaġa. U għalli nħorġu PayPal nara. U ħriġna. U battin kelmu dwar il ħaġa minna nasib xi satejt tlieta fil-karozza men niklu l-krips u nitkellmu. Like, it was the most eye-opening experience. Literalment.
Jason's like stressed in the middle. Like,
mux dakinar. Da minnom morna, just, you know, u kon nitkellmu x'kelli problema, I just need to talk. U ħadna naqra, u like, ġab l-snacks, u nġib l-snacks u kollu, dak, għamilna satej jew tlieta nitkellmu, u kif it was the most eye-opening, u like, għalli xi ħaġa, it's still written on my phone, il-ħaġa li għalli. Iva, I was like, il-liba bro, like, this is mind-blowing, just kitba fuq il-mobile, it's not something big. Tipo, għalli xaġa dwar ħajja, tipo, meta, when things don't work out with certain people, it's just a connection that didn't work. You move on, you make new connections. Like, I was like,
how profound.
How profound, bro. Like, you know, fucking psychologist, like, philosopher, just ktibta,
I'm hanging out with Jordan Peterson here still.
Oh my god, fam.
Right, toħta Ronaldo.
Xinu?
You saw Peterson and Ronaldo?
No, I didn't see anything about Peterson.
No.
I did see about that esports team that the top dude was celebrating with Andrew Tate, and he got fired.
Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, the story is that this guy was celebrating. I forgot his name. I'm just gonna call him Julian. So Julian was celebrating something with Andrew Tate, like his birthday, and he posted on his own Twitter. And
the esports team and him.
No, just him.
CEO to G2.
To G2, that's a G2. He's the
CEO to G2.
Yeah, CEO of G2.
Oh
and this dude, the CEO, posted this video on Twitter with Andrew Tate, like the sparklers, literally. And then people were like giving him hate for it. And then he was like, I draw the line here. I'm allowed to hang out with whoever I want and all this, whatever. Which I kind of understand at the same time. It's like, okay, but you're still choosing to hang out with a cunt, so expect hate.
Expect hate.
Anyway, whatever. And he doubled down, so he's like, no, I'm gonna hang out with whoever I want. The next day, fired.
Fired.
Oh no, he left.
He fired you.
Anytime a CEO says, I
It's
said
fired,
down,
it's fired. Yeah.
And G2, their Valorant team, didn't get into the like league.
How is that relevant though?
Because of this bad publicity. Like Riot did not include
That's fucking bullshit.
Guess how much a spot in the
Riot
Valorant.
overreached.
Guess how much money one of those spots cost in the Valorant league. 20 million. So this dude cost
20
G2
million what? 20 million just to enter?
No, it's like it's worth. So like that spot, if you had that spot, you could sell it for around that price. 20 minutes. So he lost, and this team, I feel bad for the team.
G2 is a massive team.
I feel bad for him, ma għamadu fi għajken. Yeah, ma għalfej mandux joħroġ ma min jidirlu.
Because the person he's hanging out with and he's defending is a woman abuser.
Sekonda.
Isn't that a fact? That is, isn't it?
No.
He had a website where he like...
Minu ta' wahda. He's not... He isn't defending him. He's
friends with him.
Isma, if you're a pedophile, I hang out with you. Naħseb. Not cool. Jek int pedophile, when I hang out miegħek. Naħseb not cool. Le. Not cool. What are you like? What's this?
Yeah, he wasn't defending Andrew Tate. He was just saying he's defending himself that he can hang out with whoever he wants.
That's what I'm saying. I
He's saying I can hang out with Andrew Tate. I can hang out with whoever I want.
I can hang out with anyone I want.
Obviously, you can't hang out with anyone you want. You can't hang out with fucking enough.
If I can hang out with Danny and I want to hang out with Danny, there's no one stopping me from hanging out with him. If I want to hang out with you, I can hang out with you. I don't need to explain to anyone why I'm hanging out with you. I should just be able to do it.
You are able to do it. Doesn't mean there's no repercussions for it.
Why should there be repercussions? Jekk jiena noħroġ miegħek. Jekk jien gost hanging out with you, jew miegħek, jew
If I'm a pedophile, he has a right to stop talking to you and like hate you, alright?
Yeah, but that doesn't stop me from hanging out with you.
Yeah, no one stopped him from hanging out with Andrew Tate.
He got fired for hanging out with someone.
Maybe if I was the president of G2 or the shareholder of G2 and I know the CEO is hanging out with Andrew Tate, I'd be like, Isma, fuck it. You're a bit controversial. Kiku jien president. I don't agree that it happened, ma kiku president ek nagħmel, xiżob. I want my CEO ta' kumpanja li nqatta fucking ħajta kollha malja tkun perfetta. That's what I want.
The same way I think about Andrew Tate getting banned or Trump getting banned from Twitter.
I
don't like the idea of it, but at the same time, I can understand why these things happen.
Instagram, if I was Instagram, I would probably ban them. But I hate that that's a thing. I hate that Instagram bans them. Instagram and Twitter and all these are platforms where people share ideas. And any ideas we're sharing.
And the problem is that when you ban someone, they just become a martyr and
they get a following or people.
Andrew Tate's banned from TikTok, but I think Andrew Tate is still the most prominent person on TikTok because people just post on their accounts.
Exactly.
So what he can't.
And people share them people share them more actually.
He's missing that money. No, if anything, he's gotten more popularity because of it. But
is it officially he abused women?
As far as I know.
He pimps women's go because he jiftaħ bija. So semmek ni diġa like, sorry, I'm not going to associate with you.
But does he abuse women?
He was.
He's been part of multiple scandals. Where
he was put in a trials group.
He had like a website where he was an escort service, but like he was essentially a pimp.
No, he was pimping women's go.
But in those situations, you're not going to be a nice person to women.
Pimping women in Romania
and abusing women are two different things.
Eżatt, pimping women in Romania, sorry, ma...
Pimping women or abusing women are two different things.
No, they're the same thing.
It's not.
It's not the same thing. But
Don't say the same thing if it's not the same thing.
One leads to the other.
Both are, if you do them, sorry. He
Like,
probably don't deserve to live, ġifieri.
Like for example, prostitution is legal in some areas in Amsterdam. Fine, well, good, whatever, I don't give a shit. But that's still very bad because there's still the slave trade. Like, there will be women that are kidnapped and then forced to enter into the sex industry. So it's like, it's legal. And technically the women aren't being abused, but there's other shit going on. There's other types of abuse that we just don't label as the normal type of abuse.
Which you still...
As
a pimp, you're abusing them. You're abusing your power over them, and you are forcing them to do things, and then he's taking a cut. A pimp, at the end of the day, takes like what, a 67% cut.
Ta' kemm ħadd faċli biex tagħmel flus, istja? Min jafala. U le, ma ara jiena li jagħmel sorry jekk rispetta l-drittijiet jiena mhux ħan nispetta kaffi.
He has no hair, so he can fuck himself. I love when he got caught. Like someone asked him, "Why are you bald?" And he gave some bullshit Giga Chad reason or whatever.
Because hair doesn't grow on busy head.
And then someone got that and edited next to a clip of him trying to grow hair. It's just like his hairline was just terrible, you know. So it's just like, oh no, you're just bald. That's the only thing. Like, shut up. Which, whatever, you know. I don't want to talk about Andrew Tate again, but it's just Andrew Tate, and it's kind of. So,
Trevor Noah għajt l-laf minn unti.
Yes, you were
Trevor Noah.
The South African.
The one who stopped the Tonight Show, ista? Ma għadux fi Tonight Show.
I don't like him as a host, but I think he's a funny guy.
ħajjaqaf issa. He's critic after 7 years, ħajjaqaf, that's it.
I never liked his show.
Għax after doing certain, xismu, comedy tours, he misses doing that.
Yeah.
So he prefers going back to that than...
I prefer his comedy.
He wasn't as funny in the Tonight Show.
No.
I think most people, like, okay, James Corden.
Jamie Oliver. John Oliver. Jamie Oliver.
Even what's his name? Stephen Colbert.
Funny. And,
like they're funny people, but when they're
even in their show, I think they're still as funny. As funny.
No, but I'm saying like James Corden. James Corden gets a lot of hate for not being funny.
James Corden.
The British one, and he was funny. If you see his old TV shows he used to write, like Gavin and Stacey, some of the funniest shit I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. But American interview shows are just not funny. Because the format, it's like a one-on-one format. Mm-hmm. It's always awkward conversations. And then they have like these game show things, you know.
There are certain parts which are funny.
Interviewees really interesting.
But then look at it next to British interview shows, like Graham Norton. I don't know if you've ever seen Graham Norton.
Well, Graham Norton has like 4 people and they can all contribute.
What he does is, his secret for creating beautiful interviews is he gets 4 celebrities, puts them all on the couch at the same time. So he essentially does a podcast with these 4 people and he gets them drunk. He gives them drinks before they come out. So they're all relaxed, they're more social, they talk.
We should do that.
No, yes, we should.
Sorry, I think like every Sunday.
I don't know. How was the last week's podcast? That's why I brought it up earlier.
How was the last week's podcast?
Last week's podcast.
Yeah, it was live. You and Leon, you didn't talk.
As a live
podcast
audience member, how did you feel?
Your videos aren't that heavily edited.
To be honest, from my perspective, last week's podcast.
This is the first time we're getting someone on the podcast that can actually.
Last week's podcast, I personally, it wasn't my favorite. It was one of my least favorite podcasts.
I thought it was one of my favorites. I thought it was funny.
No, it wasn't my favorite. I don't understand much better than last week. Podcast yet. Like the identity of this podcast yet.
Sorry? There is none.
I know there isn't, but I don't think that's supposed to be.
We sit down and
the identity is Jason being a G, editing and setting things up, and then us talking.
But what's the point? But like, for example,
it's just when we started the idea of having a podcast, we were like, isma, we are fil-bidu it was just Jason, me and Daniel. We were like, isma, we are 3 friends. We speak all the time. Why not record it? That's it. Fuck you.
But that still won't make interesting conversation. Just
we're getting views.
Says the person who listens to it.
You stand. Okay, wait. Leon brings interesting topics, and you get interesting topics.
Yeah.
Without please, when you bring interesting topics and you debate them.
Yes. Like
when you're just talking about random nonsense, as I'm gonna turn out to that. I mute that part. No offense.
Imma b'eżempju bħallum We had discussions fil-bidu wkoll.
Waħħa, imma mbagħad jekk
Can we not talk about the podcast on the podcast? Nah, meta.
Vera.
Mhux id-debate.
Mhux Deadpool, we're breaking fourth wall. Mela.
Shall we wrap it up? Do you want to do the outro? Or shall I do the outro? Or shall Zach do the outro again?
Ħud di intro.
You did.
Kemm m'għandużni?
Ma nafx.
Dak kemm jina
Yeah, we've
1 hour 11 minutes. Bomba nax nagħtu.
we've done time. And also
Irnaqtaw like.
we're good.
Fidek l-outro.
Oh.
Għanna guest illum ħajjamil l-outro.
Speaking to the mic.
Usually I don't make it to the total end of the podcast. Mela.
Uċibni bħala l-ewwel guest.
What a ringing endorsement,
I watched all of them, ġifieri. But I don't make it to the end.
Random question.
Can I actually, I'll go to the topic as well, I want to talk about, because this is a scandal that I'm interested in. The Try Guys.
The?
Try Guys.
And I know who they are, but I don't know the scandal.
So, I don't know, I've never seen any of their content, right? The Try Guys have no... The first time I heard about the Try Guys was like a few years ago with like a random video, and I re-heard about them recently. Essentially, one of his biggest personality traits is that he loves his wife, right? And he always talks about... Am I wrong? Right? Yeah, exactly. So he always talks about his wife, he loves his wife, that his wife's brilliant, they have a brilliant relationship, etc. It recently came out, he's been having a long-term affair with one of his employees. I don't know the exact details because I don't give a shit enough to see the details. But, and I just read the headline. What?
Yeah, daw.
No, but at some point, one of the girls, this part of the channel, he's her boss, right?
Yeah.
Die out of Viola.
No, the blue one.
The blue one?
Yeah. The blue one, Oosh. So the blue one.
No. Wait.
Yeah, yes.
Red. Alright.
Whatever. Either way, he's cheating on his wife. And it became a big thing because it's like it was part of his character, he loves his wife, etc. And he got fired, right? He's not part of the channel anymore.
And they were for the
Yes.
guys, assuming. It was those
four. And now, but I think they're going to look for
That was the
a
three
fourth.
guys.
I think they're going to try and replace him.
Ah.
The ideas is what I heard anyway. I don't know what. I
Nisan
don't
applika
know
għal
these people.
x'inhuma? Nisan applika għal pożizzjoni
Tista.
għal x'inhuma?
Imma, the point is, as I'm saying, it's a personal matter, right?
Should you get fired for it?
Should you get fired for it?
Probably.
Yes.
Again.
If you based your character on something and then there's a scandal that erases that character, kind of, then...
But then,
It would probably affect views. Speaking from it, let's say we all own that channel.
Yeah.
We know this will negatively impact our channel.
Yes.
Probably it will. So
Yes.
it would make sense.
But he wasn't doing anything illegal.
He wasn't doing anything
Mandu
illegal.
x'jaqsam.
Imma immaġina, one,
I'm with you, but I'm just
one
seeing
cheating,
saying what I saw on the internet.
one cheating on your wife, that's already something bad.
Yes.
And it's illegal in many parts of the world.
Issa, if you build your character on I love my wife, I love my wife, I love my wife, yeah, man,
Like,
ma
bro,
billi attendinti.
there's like an hour-long compilation of all the times he mentions his
yin-
wife constantly. My wife.
Like right on for the daqsek.
Which makes sense, no?
Imma jekk inti jgħid illi he loves my wife, that's his character, and then something like this comes out, it's even worse.
Allura, even if it's not this case, if I see that anything that we by I don't know podcast, we have reasonable viewers, u għed minni maġu ħagġa li naf ħat effettwana ħazin dal-podcast. U naf li probabli ħammorru aħjar jekk inneħuħ. Xofi ħana.
Għax mbagħad iktar u iktar jekk inti neħħejtu, that's even better publicity milli kieku ma ġara xejn ġenerali.
I think I'd rather
But
have
you know
nothing
what,
happen
though? I
probably.
don't think cancelling does anything.
Mm,
PewDiePie got bigger after saying the N-word.
yeah, probably. Lele,
You
good,
know?
bad publicity, still publicity.
Look at every YouTuber that's been cancelled. Even the ones who have done illegal things. They still got an audience.
Imma
Still.
għalhekk it's better publicity li keċċewh milli kieku ma ġara xejn, għax issa hekk people are talking, yes,
konx naf
dwarhom. Now we're talking about it. Issa ngħid, alright, mela daw ġar xi ħaġa ħażina u they took action on it. Mela qed jagħmlu xi ħaġa tajba wkoll, mela maybe I'll see what they're
But in
doing.
that situation, do you know who John Mulaney is?
No.
He's a stand-up comedian. And even part of his character was, I love my wife, my girlfriend's amazing. First a girlfriend, and then as he got older, it became my wife, whatever.
Mhux bil-kontra ġifieri.
Much contra. And essentially, he used to be a drug addict, or an addict to alcohol and drugs. And he relapsed. And when he left rehab recently, in the past year, he divorced his wife. He said in all of his shows, in all of his stand-up shows, like, that he will never have kids, and that him and his wife don't want kids. Divorced his wife, got with a girl, got pregnant in a month.
But that's different.
But isn't that like sort of the same like thing? Like he essentially fucked his wife over. She wanted kids, and he didn't want kids, so she didn't have kids because of him.
Hey,
A woman can only have kids safely anyway, as safe as can be, at a certain age. At 28,
Imma sekonda naqra.
the female body
Dead.
starts
Sorry,
increasing.
what's your
Dead,
point?
dead,
He's a
seconda.
dick, yes.
ċaġa,
He's a dick,
imma
but there's
sekonda,
no
le,
repercussions.
le,
He's
sekonda
still
naqra.
fucking popular as shit.
Sekonda naqra. Le, ma naqbilx miegħek illi he's a dick.
Yeah, he's a dick. He's a dick.
ħabba di u ħabba affarijiet oħra?
Ħabbadi.
Le, ħanejlek għala le. Jiena naħsibha hekk. Ma inti qed tgħid.
He left her just.
He left her. And then he went with some other chick, I don't know.
To be fair, I'm saying he's a dick. I don't know how it went down.
Sekonda naqra.
There's details that can
L-istorja.
happen.
Also, he
Dejni,
left her just after rehab, where they literally tell you don't make any big life decisions when you leave rehab.
Imma minnu ta' nara. Iġviri
Mentally, you're not in the right space.
da kien drug addict u alcohol addict, sawa?
When he was like 15.
Eżatt.
And then he like,
Umbat ġi
Sober.
sober,
for a long time.
kienet mal-mara, he relapsed, went to rehab, after rehab he broke up with her, mal-mama oħra u sandu tfal.
Within like 2 months,
Issa.
he divorced, found someone else, and got her pregnant.
Issa,
Which after rehab,
issa, għalek, inti taħseb, jina mill-li għattejt
He can
inti,
easily go back.
mill-li għattejt inti,
Relapse.
mela da, alright, u ma rix tfal. Alright, which is fair enough, dik, in my opinion, hija żbal tal-mara, jekk il-mara jrid tfal u ma rix tfal, I'm sorry, you are not compatible. Move on.
it's not like 100% known whether she wanted kids or not. But the point is that as a guy, it's very easy to say, I don't want kids, and then to change your mind. Women can't do that.
Imma jekk inti bħala mara trid tfal u raġel ma jridx tfal, I'm sorry, you are not compatible, move on. Jiena nitkellem personali, jekk jiena noħroġ ma tfajla u tgħidli I don't want kids, I will never want kids. Okay, good for you. Imma I'm sorry, we're not compatible. Ciao. U
Do you
nitla'.
want kids?
Yes.
How many? How many?
Not more than 2.
Not more than 2.
Not more than 2.
You need 2.1.
Huh?
2.1 at least, huh?
2.1 at least.
Jason
To keep
wants,
the average.
Jason wants 10 kids.
10 kids.
Corey wants 10. Jason said that Corey wants 10 kids.
L-ostja 2 maximum. Imma.
To be fair, if you're at 2 now,
Zach, do you want kids?
it'll be like I time at like between 0 or 1. So it'll probably be 2. If you want 2 now, you'll probably have 5.
Le, jina, it was always, jina jek issaqsi il-ċat li jafni meta kont zaħir, jien dejjem nisa sħagġa kont nejt, jien dejjem rrit familja biex titfall. Minn meta kont zaħir, sissa
If I
ġiġ
have
tfall
kids, I
baqad.
want to. Because it's
I
like,
think that's
Yeah,
just the nuclear
one,
family.
you give them a friend, you know?
One is okay.
You don't want lonely.
2 is good.
Never mind. I said
3 is fuck, I fucked up.
it's too much.
For me, it was always
3,
0
three
or
the
2.
condom broke.
For me, it was always 0 or 2.
Zach.
0
or
or 2. It was always 0 or 2.
Exactly.
If I get one by mistake, I have to get another
Are you
one.
an only child?
No, that's why.
You're not, right?
No.
Yeah, I have a sister. Jason's the not the youngest. Yeah, you're the youngest of
He's a
4
4.
kids. I have a sister, but she's 7 years younger than me. So I grew up essentially the
What's
first
his
7 years
own?
as an only child. And so, and even then, like my sister, there's 7 years, man. Only now, I'm 22, and only now we're getting like having a relationship with each other.
Hija,
When I'm 14 and she's 7, get the fuck out of my life.
hija tlesin iżar minni. Issa.
still, that's good.
He is not bad.
Hija tlesin iżar
Mine-
minni.
mine is 3 years, and you can really relate to that
couple.
Jtejneku, illi
That's really tough.
issa we're starting to have a good relationship.
He's younger or older?
Younger.
Younger.
I'm the oldest. Imma issa we're starting to have a good relationship. Di
Being the oldest,
Di l-axħar sena.
not the best, eh?
Di l-axħar sena u nofsi, so. Għax qabel, tipo, he did his own shit, I did my own shit, u we kind of sometimes clash. Konna niftehmu ta' ma we did clash a bit. Issa we're getting along more. Imma da ħar snin, ġviri anka, għaxin t-tejt 7 snin u so you're getting along. Anka 3 snin, ġviri, issa we're getting along.
No, I know, but I'm saying that 7 years makes it even.
The age is a factor
She's
for
doing
why
her
you
own-
can't relate.
She's doing her O levels.
Yeah,
right?
7
yeah,
years is
yeah,
a factor why you can't
mela,
relate.
mela,
3
mela.
years, hemm xi ġraġun oħra problem, mhux just
I
age.
said like at the end of the sentence. I keep saying like at the end of sentences.
That's just most people do it.
I know, but it's not a good habit.
Le,
Ma le, going back għal dali għetejdu he's a dick.
Bro.
I don't think he's a dick.
I was like, what? Except dik tajt fuq. Going back, he a dick.
He can be a dick sometimes, ma he's a good dick.
Alright,
He helps.
shall we wrap up? Can we end on a joke?
On a joke.
No.
Leclerc pole.
Before you went on a joke, did you kontu ta' I was like this is nafa f'tilu. Apparently it's well known ma konx nafa. Illi hot water freezes much faster than cold water.
Hot water freezes
much faster than cold water. So if you boil it before you freeze it, freezes much faster.
No, ma konx nafa. Hot water freezes much faster?
Yes.
Apparently ħabba shock in change of temperature.
I don't know why.
It's called the member effect, something like that. Imma I don't know how it works. Imma I was surprised.
You can have water,
boiling
freezing
water
and steam all at the same time.
Yes.
Iju, dik smajta darba.
Zero degrees Celsius is also not the temperature that water freezes, but also that it turns to steam. Because at 0, water can change.
It's 0.1 or something like that.
Yes, technically.
The triple point of
the dude who invented Celsius, John Celsius, he wanted it to be 0 is boiling and minus 100 would be freezing. He wanted it to be reversed, but it didn't.
Hello. Which makes
but
more sense.
Water is like, I think the only thing that can do that, where at 0
can be all
it can
three
go from
states
ice to water
to steam
all at the same temperature.
It's very cool. When you say it happens, it's very cool.
It is.
Yeah.
And videos there.
It is. Anyway, wrap up.
Joke.
So, if I've got a mothball in this hand.
A what?
A mothball. You know what a mothball is?
What's a mothball?
You know what a mothball is?
Ball? Ballon ta' trappi ma.
Alright, I'm not saying this. A mothball is the thing that's like, when you've got like a suit in your wardrobe, you put a mothball in the pocket, so moths don't eat it.
What?
Like, it produces a smell that moths don't like, so they don't eat your clothes. Right?
Dawk li kollhom kollha boċċi ġewwa.
Alright.
Tal-kamra ngħidu l-għamien.
Le, not those packets, those are different. These are mothballs that you put for clothes. So you put like in a drawer or like in the pocket of a suit. They're like this big.
Botella stabba. Insomma, mothball, okay.
Anyway, if I've got a mothball in this hand and a mothball in this hand, what do I have?
2 mothballs.
No, a very happy moth. Goodbye. We're on YouTube, Spotify.
That doesn't make sense.
For the 8th episode. No, it's on.
You don't get it.
No. No.
Because I'm holding a moth's balls.
Oh my god.
Ciao. Nara għom il-ġimma d-dila.